we need
making
allies.
funds.
We need allies. We need many men who are investors to see the value in women founded companies. We need men who are invited to speak on International Women's Day to say, no, pass the mic to a woman. I am not accepting the
I
speaking
know the
engagement. I
value
need
there
men
because
to
I've been,
say,
yeah.
when men look around that green room and it's full of men, say, I'm not going to speak at these events unless you have 50% women at the events.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
And then, well, the beginning, you have to do everything because, there is no funding, no money. We have to do it. But as soon as we increase the sales, we need to identify those
Yes.
tasks that take more time and we can give it to somebody else. So, Banjuli, my question to you, what is your message that you have for moms working in corporate listening to this podcast? By the way, this podcast, a lot of entrepreneurs, people that want to be an entrepreneur, but also people that are in corporate that want to shift to the entrepreneurial world. They are
Yeah.
listening. So, what's the message that you have, especially for women that they are in
Yeah.
and they are listening and they say, "Wow, I wish that I have that courage because they are in this golden cage. Okay, they have a big house, they have a very good salary, but at the end of the day, there is no time to spend with your kids. And the other day, I visit a friend, and they have a little girl, and the friend was telling me, Harry, you know what? I need to start to do my business and something else because 9 to 5 doesn't work for me anymore because I had the
Yeah.
kids, so I need to pick up the girl, whatever. So the 9 to 5
Yeah.
thing that I was very happy with, now it doesn't work for me. So I need to look for another
Yeah, I think that
solution.
that traditional workforce system was built at a time when men were in the workforce and were fully supported by a full-time woman at home who took care of everything. So that 9 to 5 sort of work model is so expired. It doesn't work for working families anymore because I don't have a wife at home taking care of everything while I'm at work and who's going to have dinner on the table and who's going to entertain my clients, and that doesn't exist anymore. So our traditional workforce is so expired, and a lot of women are catching on to this and being like, hold on a second. So I would say to the women or the moms who are thinking, oh, I want to change things up. I've got this idea. I would say, look at those first 5 things that I said. I also think, make sure you don't glamorize it or, romanticize it, like I said. But the other thing, too, is really managing those expectations. And I mean your expectations and the expectations of your family. Because in those early days, when you're starting a business, you're not paying yourself. To your point, Harry, everything you do is going back into the business, right? You're doing everything yourself. So what does that look like for your family? It looks like maybe you put the kids to bed and you don't grab a glass of wine and throw Netflix on with your partner. You go to the basement and make labels till midnight. Maybe it means you don't buy that second car. You don't go on that holiday because you don't have that other salary coming in. So if you have a
It's
partner
gonna
and
take
they are
something.
not, yeah, if
There
your
is a
partner
price you
not
pay.
yeah, if they're not fully on board, it's not going to work. And your kids, everybody has to know how this is going to impact the family life, and it's not going to be glamorous for a very long time, if ever, because a lot of female-founded businesses, less than 2% of female-founded businesses get funding in the first part. So we have a huge
Mm-hmm.
gap there.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a very huge gap for exits. I forget what the percentage, but it's very low for how many women-owned companies actually, or women-founded companies, even make $1 million a year. That's very low. And then when we talk about exiting, also women are making exits at a lower selling point. So we have a lot of work in the entrepreneurial space for women. There's a lot of work to be done, but I mean, we are making gains slowly but surely. But I think, the managing expectations and knowing what it's really going to look like and being realistic about that is key.
So, to the topic like this, if women's are, in my opinion, amazing as a workforce. Second one, they have the same ability, probably more responsibility to handle money than men. Men, we take a lot of risks more than what we suppose. Um, This I'm not inventing this. I'm a person. I know John Gray, the author of the women, the women, men stand for Mars and women stand for Venus. Okay, he sold 50 million books, and he told me, Harry, we're different. I'm telling you, I sold 50 million books. Okay, so the other thing is, in order to attract talent, for example, we have an employee that when she started to work with us 9, 10 years ago, don't remember, she didn't have any kids. Now she has 3 kids. So
Right.
as employers, in order for us to keep the talent, we have to be flexible
That's
because
right.
we're not gonna lose her.
You
I
don't
actually
lose
was
her.
speaking with her before you, and she told me, no, my computer break down. I said, what do you need? How much is the new computer? We send it to you. You know what I mean? So, but that we have with that employee at the beginning have nothing to do with the dynamic that happened now. How we know? She was very young when she started with us. We didn't know that she's gonna have 3 kids. So now she had
Sure.
so the whole thing changed, and the time of coming forward changed, and with more kids, things change. But as employer, we have been adapted because we want to keep the talent.
That's right.
Okay,
And I think it need to respond to this. I mean, we learned
if you want
through,
to
we
keep the
learned,
talent.
that's right. And we learned through a lot of the lockdown time during COVID was that workers can work very effectively and productively not going to the office. And now a lot of corporations have said you need to come back, and people are losing 2 hours a day on their commute. They're not seeing their family. They're not. And I just find that it really is women because, you make a point about women employees and having to be flexible, and it's because women are still carrying the load at home. Home is still not democratic. There's a care gap. So a lot of like the default parenting, mom's taking care of, okay, who's booking the dentist appointments, who's picking up the birthday presents, who's making sure the homework's done, who's meeting with the teacher. All of this, dads are more involved, but we know statistically all of this is still falling on mom. So if
So the kids cost
not
money,
as
yeah?
democratic. Oh yeah. So if home is not as democratic,
Because
so
a lot of
these
money you have to pay for the
conversations have to
school,
happen
for
at.
the
Oh, tell me about it.
uniforms.
I have kids in college.
Yeah, Cynthia.
I
And
know
then they
all
say,
about it.
okay, you know what? I joined the volleyball team. You what?
Yeah.
Yes, I joined the volleyball team. And after you have an email from the school, I said, listen, the kid have joined the volleyball team, so you need to buy
The
the
uniform and the
outfit, the
yeah,
trainers, So this is
yeah.
how it's gonna go, and then you go by surprise. And this is less fun, of course, that you have to grow your business. Okay, so Julie, you tell me. What do you think that is the problem that, like I told you, the example of the minister of Zimbabwe, yes, real example with real government data. Yeah, he told me personally to me. It's also in the press. So, why women are have the same capacity or probably better capacity to be responsible with the capital?
So
Why, when it comes to
yeah.
sales, they are amazing because this is a personal experience that I have. And third, where we have to, as entrepreneur, take back this idea, the 9 to 5, and be flexible if we want to keep the talent. So you tell me, what is the problem? What is happening? That because if for me as an entrepreneur it doesn't make sense. I'm an entrepreneur, and I work with whatever is best for my business. And if I have to be flexible to keep the talent, I'll do it. If I have to employ women because they perform better than men, I'll do it because I'm an entrepreneur. So I do whatever is better for my business. Why we have those challenges in society? In London, when we go
Yeah.
to tech, women in tech, you hear the stories that they're crazy. Amazing projects and nobody give them funding, and it's a disaster
So
in
it's
London.
it's a bit of a cycle. So I mean, we know women are starting businesses at twice the rate of men, and they're getting less than 2% of funding. So women are not supported. People are not
Why?
putting their
Why?
money. They're
What's
not
the
putting their
reason?
money where their mouth is.
We need
Well,
to
I
find the
think
source.
I'm going to tell you what I think part of the problem is that we need to start elevating women. So women, once they have their families, are not getting to a point, end up behind in their career. So they're not ending up in C-suite. They're like, that's going to be too hard for me to manage. So they're not getting to these high levels where they're making a lot of money. If we have more women making money and more women selling their businesses at, for millions of dollars, all the women I know who have sold their businesses for that kind of money are putting it directly back into funding women's businesses. So we have women who are funding women's businesses, but we need more women at the top. We need to get that pipeline going, funding more women's business, supporting women at home, supporting women in employment, supporting our community, our services, so much. If there is more support for women, then we will see It's better for our society. We even know that companies
Government should
that
think about it also. Yeah.
what's that?
Is
Yeah,
the,
but
the
don't everybody.
government should be doing something about it also. It's
Yeah,
better for them to
yes,
make more money, collect more tax if you have
yes,
more business.
exactly.
So
And in
creative
that way,
effort. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. And from a government perspective, it's like, yes, provide free childcare, provide good health care, good education
How
so
about
that
that?
parents aren't paying for private. There's so much that can be done. This is a whole thing. Generally speaking, women need more money. Like, we don't want more
Absolutely.
inspiration. We don't want more inspiration. We don't want more all the mentors and the conferences. Give us show money.
Exactly. Give us the funding because you guys
Yeah.
know what to with it. And then I think that one of the problems is that all these busy funds or these capitals they are managed by men, right? So, and by the way, I train when my speakers, to my speakers at least, actually more women than men attend. Yeah, because when we do the previews and when we conduct those trainings, helping people to become speakers and to speak of the business in public, we create a framework where the women are comfortable and more women, actually more women than men,
Yes, but are they
attend to
making
the
money from
workshop
it?
all over the world.
But they're attending. But if you, at the end of the year, how much money are they making off their speaking compared to the men? Women get asked to speak for free. They are asked to do things for free all the time, even for
Unless they do
International
their own
Women's Day.
events, which is something that we helping them and creating the
Yeah.
framework. Okay, like what that's what I tell the women. Look, if nobody speak you to, if nobody invite you to speak, you do your own event. Just do it yourself. Okay, like exactly like you said, nobody's gonna do it for you. Okay, and I think women, nobody's going to do it for you guys, people. So you have to exactly what you said to create a women empowering women
We need
seeing
allies.
funds.
We need allies. We need many men who are investors to see the value in women found in companies. We need men who are invited to speak on International Women's Day to say, no, pass the mic to a woman. I am not accepting this
I
speaking
know the
engagement. I
value
need
there
men
because
to
I've
say,
been,
when men look around that green room and it's full of men, say, I'm not going to speak at these events unless you have 50% women at the events. We need men also as allies to stand up.
Exactly.
And because at the end of the day, having more women leaders is good for our society. We know that women founded companies are more philanthropic, which is better for society. We see higher rates of employee happiness and satisfaction. So there's good argument to why women should be ruling the world.
I'm a big supporter.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.